Hello and welcome to Comic Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Erich McElroy. Good evening.
Hey, welcome along to our live streaming comedy show, sorting out all of your problems, whether they're problems in the news, problems you send to us in the chat thing on the YouTube thing you can see there, or just problems in general that we spot. For example, today I realised Timothy Dalton, actor Timothy Dalton's got a problem. He was speaking in the paper saying that even though he hasn't played Bond for like over 35 years, he can't order a drink without people saying, do you want it shaken, not stirred? Which must be a problem for you if you're trying to have a martini, but an even bigger problem for you if you're just ordering a Coke. Like, great, I can't open this can now for about half an hour, you dick. So, look, we'll solve problems left, right, and centre. I mentioned already that if you're on the YouTube thing, you can join in on the chat. So wherever you're watching this, feel free to migrate to the YouTube channel, subscribe and like and smash things while you're there. I'm not really sure. Makes you sound like a rock star in a hotel back in the old days. And then you can get involved in the chat. You can also, as this show plows on, help us out by chucking some coins in our coffer. We've got like a Ko-fi thing. A lot of "k" sound in that little paragraph there, but we'll give you the link for that. And if you've pre-bought tickets to this entertainment fest, sit down, strap in. It's about to get real. Damn. So I think we're all about sorted. We've got some messages that we'll start dealing with when we get up and running. But first of all, Mr. Erich McElroy, I say to you, what problems you got for us?
Well, Steve, this is a problem that we're all familiar with, but some people are coming to terms with it in different ways. And this is, of course, the problem of Delta. It's a big problem. It's making Republicans in the U.S. talk about things in a way that they haven't ever before. And I think it's becoming more clear to them about why Delta is a problem. Let's have a look at it here, which you can see, of course. That's actually not the Delta that I was meant to talk about, Delta Force, the classic film with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. I mean, the thing is, it was even a flawed film at the time. I mean, Chuck was never the greatest actor, and it's not Lee Marvin's greatest work. And even if we look back at the reviews that it had, I mean, 17% on Rotten Tomato. That's pretty harsh. Even an audience score for a film like that that's got red blood meat in America, and Chuck Norris only got 49%. So I can see why Republicans are having a problem with that. But that's actually not the Delta that I meant to talk about, Steve. I'm not even talking about the kind that is at the end of the Mississippi River. Oh. No, this is a different kind of. I could only bother to come up with those two. I mean, there's other Deltas, of course. There's Delta Airlines, but that's not such a big thing in the UK.
There's a maths term that's Delta, which helps you work out the difference between two figures, but we'll move on to calculus then and differentiation. So it'd be up my street.
I don't want to get you started.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you started in that. We're talking about this Delta, which is the Delta variant. That's the cases in the US of the prevalence of the Delta variant, which makes me want to watch a Chuck Norris movie, to be honest. I mean, that's a lot of the same amount of red in a Chuck Norris movie for sort of action as it goes. But basically, with this explosion of the Delta variant in the U.S. is struggling with vaccine hesitancy. And it's prevalent mostly in the Trump-leaning states, in the Republican-leaning states. So basically, if you go through the states that voted for Trump, people aren't taking up the vaccine. You go for the states that vote for Biden, people are taking up the vaccine. And so the Delta variant is spreading in those states. And it's been something that, his supporters and Republicans in general and the influencers in places like Fox News and the even further right Newsmax, they just have not been pushing the vaccine at all. It's not Trump's vaccine. Got nothing to do with them, right? He might have started it, but hey, you didn't vote for the guy, don't take his vaccine. It's kind of been their angle so far. But recently, there's been a change in tone. And by recently, I mean like over the last 24 to 48 hours. You can even go to places like Fox News and watch someone like Sean Hannity, who's been kind of like, oh, well, it's everybody's choice. Do what you want to do. The tune has changed just a little bit. See if you can see where he is on the vaccine at the moment.
Please take COVID seriously. I can't say it enough. Enough people have died. We don't need any more death. And it absolutely makes sense for many Americans to get vaccinated. I believe in science. I believe in the science of vaccination.
Well, that's pretty strong there. That's the moment when you realize vaccine hesitancy of your viewers is killing your viewers.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And his viewers are so old, they can't reproduce anymore. They're past that. There's no one. There's no one coming through. It's not just been Fox News, it's been actual politicians as well. Here's Mitch McConnell, the minority Republican leader in the Senate.
These shots need to get in everybody's arm as rapidly as possible.
I just realized that the vaccine hesitancy of my voters is killing my voters.
You can do an impression.
I did an impression.
It's really good. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
He's known as kind of a turtle, not just because of that neck thing, because he normally moves so slowly to support anything related to fact or science. But he's nervous now. He's nervous, as many of them are. Tucker Carlson is the other famous person on Fox News. He's been even more pushing of the vaccine hesitancy and the vaccine doubters. Here he was on the same night as Hannity was saying, go get the vaccine.
Hardly attacking vaccines or trying to convince people not to get them at all. I never have done that and won't.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty firm that he's coming out saying that he's not attacking the vaccine. What's always important when you make a statement like that, emphatically, is obviously what comes next.
Hardly attacking vaccines or trying to convince people not to get them at all. I never have done that and won't. However,
That's the however I'm adding. I would never attack the vaccines. However, I'm going to spend the next hour of my show attacking the vaccine. However.
It's 2 impressions.
It's not as good as your Mitch, but it's good.
Yeah. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think it's true. I just identify more with the Mitch persona. I don't want to be Tucker Carlson.
Anyway. Not all Republicans are on board with this shift in tone that we've seen. I think you've heard of Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She's the representative from Georgia. She's the one who said that forest fires were started by the Jewish space lasers.
Okay.
Now, I do want to be fair to Marjorie because she has come back and since apologized for that statement. Not to Jews, just to the space lasers. She's very sorry about the space lasers. She doesn't want any space lasers to be upset with her. The Jews, she's not so fussed. Where is she on whether people should take the vaccine? And where is she? I can't find her. That's because I clicked on the wrong thing. But where is she? She's right here.
But people can also say due to religious reasons they can choose not to take vaccines. And I think it's really, it's people's choice. It's definitely should be a choice.
I like that sound. I like a Republican saying, my body, my choice. I'd like that to catch on a little bit. We should make choices about our own bodies, like what we put in them, what we allow to stay in them. Maybe more women should. They're never going to flip that over to women's right to choose, are they? They're never going to see the hypocritical nature of that argument. Anyway, so she's out there kind of basically being sort of wishy-washy on the whole vaccine thing. Let's just find out right now. Has she or has she not herself gotten the vaccine?
Have you yourself gotten vaccinated, and do you disagree with the Republican whip?
Well, your first question is a violation of my HIPAA rights. You see, with HIPAA rights, we don't have to reveal our medical records, and that also involves our vaccine records.
Now, just to be clear there, Steve, that's not her hippo rights. That's a different thing that Republicans do when they go to Africa and kill endangered hippos. These are her HIPAA rights, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which does allow for some privacy when it comes to your medical records in the United States. And she's saying that when this reporter is asking her about her personal choice to get a vaccine, which is about her body, that he can't ask her that because that's protected by her HIPAA rights, of course. Now, we since know that that actually is not true. People can totally ask whether or not you're vaccinated, and it doesn't violate her HIPAA rights, but, whatever. Jewish space lasers. Facts. Let's not let facts get in the way of anything that we want. Now, the thing is, this is going to get close to something that's personal to you, Steve, because you believe yourself to be somebody who studied science.
I believe that to be true. Yeah.
Believe in that thing called science. Now, Marjorie Taylor was asked, the woman who believes in the Jewish space lasers, about what the science that supports the vaccines. And does she at least support that? And this is what she had to say.
Do you believe in science, though? I believe in God. And, of course, there is science. I don't worship science or think that science rules everything. I believe that God rules everything.
There you go, Steve. She doesn't worship science like you do. She has a belief in it. She has a belief in God. God maybe made some science, so she believes in some of the science that God made that is convenient and allows her to believe what she wants.
So she doesn't go to the laboratory every Sunday and take mass, but not Catholic mass, just actually the quantity which, when times by the force of gravity, gives you the weight.
Yeah, I think that's what she does. She believes in it, in God, but doesn't believe in the science. But I bet she believed in the vaccine, and that's probably why she took it, but doesn't want anybody to know that she took it. Overall, what we're seeing here is a massive shift because so many people that are on the Republican side of the ledger are going to get sick from the Delta variant, and because they're not getting the vaccine, they are going to die. And that is awful, and people need to get the vaccine. It's very important. And so the Republicans are coming to the game now to try and raise vaccine awareness. And I guess the question is, how do we feel that Republicans and people on Fox News and so on are doing with their COVID response? And we look at their review. Oof. Oh, that is bad. That's even bad. That's even worse than Delta Force.
Oh. Oof.
That's a bad rating.
Oh, bad times.
When you're worse than the Chuck Norris movie.
Wow.
My God.
So I got a few thoughts on that, if I may.
Yeah.
I don't think she had the vaccine because if she did, why did she wear a top with no sleeves? Surely people could zoom in and look for any puncture marks. Zooming in would require science, so actually maybe not. Yep, fair enough.
Probably not.
Also,
Okay.
I don't know if I don't want to play the full clip, but if I can go back to one of yours, I think it was this one.
Hardly attacking vaccines or trying to convince people not to get them at all.
Aren't they the same people on both sides of the screen? What kind of an arsehole interviews himself?
Have you watched Tucker Carlson before?
Oh, no. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like he's been visited by him a few years, either when he was younger or in the future when he's hit the gym a few more times. And he's...
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know there's a lot of complaints about lack of diversity on British TV, but he's interviewing himself.
Well, it is Fox News.
Yeah.
Lack of diversity isn't really one of their strong suits.
They've gone for peak non-diverse by having almost identical twins.
Yeah, and Tucker is pretty much a white supremacist.
Wow.
Allegedly.
So yeah, interesting times about them. Yeah, not liking the science. This, from the point of view of science, not that anyone can speak for it, because it's not even a thing like that. But she doesn't worship science. Good. You're not meant to worship any. What? Eh?
She doesn't believe.
Oh well. How can you not believe in science if you think Jewish space lasers are a thing? Because the invention of a laser is quite difficult to get all of those excited states ready so that they can relax and emit coherent light photons. What? That's God, is it? Sounds a bit sciencey.
It's covered
to me.
in 1 Corinthians in the Old Testament, which I think is in the New Testament, but it's in one of the Testaments.
Covered by a hippopotamus oath.
It's in the scroll.
And that
The sand scroll.
You know, if the Hipporite thing, Hipporites, surely it can't be that you're not allowed to ask me that. Surely it's that you don't have to answer it. Is that not how rights work on that?
I think you're accusing somebody who clearly has a loose thread on reality, trying to use a bit too much reality. So, right, let's check in and see what we've got here. We've got some evenings all from everyone over in the chat. To Chris, to Tom, to Chris Boot, to Chris Hood, to Chris Boot, to Chris Hood.
You stuck?
They're talking to each other. Chris Hood says that Eric, looks like he's escaped through a hedge. Was he being chased by a dog? Is that because my hair is getting a little bit unruly? Is that what that's about? Yeah. Gotten rough. Britt has joined the chat. iBogey's joined. Britt says, Steve saying strap on made me giggle.
Is that what I said?
Did you say that?
Did I mean strap in, but did I start the show by saying strap on? It's going to happen.
Strap on. That is for our other show, which is over on OnlyFans. So join us there.
Although we've had to go on a different website, not even fans.
We're going to be on brand new tube. That's our next venture, which is from last week's show. Catch up on that. iBogey says, my son's 21-year-old friend just got a blood clot in the heart from the second Pfizer. Died for a minute.
But only a minute. Wow. So
that's good. I hope they're okay.
Die of COVID, just to bring in the stats.
Yeah, the Pfizer I didn't think was the one that was doing the blood clots, but
And actually, I was listening to a phone-in yesterday saying the odds of getting the same type of blood clot when you get COVID are 10 times as big as the risk of getting it with a vaccine. So even if you're just looking at the blood clots, you want to get a vaccine to lessen your chance of getting the clots.
there we go. So that's because we are pro-vaccine on the show because we don't want this video taken down. So
We're pro-science and we're pro not having things taken down.
And we're glad that we're hope that iBogey's friend is doing better, son's friend. Britt says Trump vaccine is better than a Bojo vaccine. The latter is a code word for what makes you pregnant.
About a shot, not in the arm,
though. Chris says we love Eric's Irish accent impression. That was from a previous show.
Oh, was it? Was it not you? Oh, I thought it was
that?
probably what you were trying to do, doing your Mitch impression. No, your Mitch was good.
Yeah.
I've been driving back at a different time, and I've realised I can now do a new impression, but it's only going to be useful for anyone who listens to LBC. What time do I finish the show? At 6, like 6:30, because there's a guy called Darren Goff who does the travel on the way back. LBC Travel, I'm Darren Goff. LBC Travel, I'm Darren Goff. He sounds like that.
Maybe we should add a travel segment to the show.
LBC Travel, I'm Darren Goff. Delays on M25.
But do it as comic solving problems travel.
Problems on the internet. I'm Darren Goff. There you go. It's not an impression everyone's going to love, but something for almost everyone.
Tracy is there. Evening all. She says, don't forget Pfizer also makes Viagra. So if they can raise the dead, they can raise the living.
Nice.
And iBogey says, and that's why I'm banned from Tesco.
I got a button for it. Boom.
There it is. Boom. Britt says she doesn't believe in gravity. That's why her head is bobbing around the ceiling. You mean that's not the reason for her logic? And Shades of North says MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, doesn't deserve a paycheck from the public purse.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true. She doesn't deserve anything from the purse.
God will sort her out. She doesn't need money. God will provide.
Restream has sent us something from Edward that says it's a laser conspiracy.
That's how it is.
And Britt says hippo rights are that they should all happily gobble up marbles. Little hungry hippo. And I don't know what the abbreviations ADE mean.
No.
Does that mean something on the internet?
I don't know.
Don't know what that means. You have to translate that for us old folks at Bogey. And Chris Hood says, I assume it's not the former cricketer Darren Goff.
Darren Goff. LBC Travel, I'm Darren Goff. Used to play cricket. Delays on M25. Cricket.
Right. So I think we're caught up on the comments for the moment. Please remember to give the show a like. Just crush the like button. And if you're enjoying what we're doing, please feel free to just drop a bucket.
A donation.
Drop a bucket. Strap on and get over to that Ko-fi page and contribute to keep us going. And before you do your story, I forgot to close a window. So I'm going to close my window.
Okay, I've still got the fan on as well. Let's do that.
So there we go.
If you could tell me in the comment section if you could hear the fan, because it was cooling down my shins. The shins are out, by the way. Sorry about that.
That's more than I needed to know. I've closed the window.
Just the one
my
shin.
stick of power. So, we're caught up. And I believe, Mr. Stephen Allen, you will solve a problem for us now.
Yeah, let's get stuck into... look, there's no two ways around it. There is a problem that needs to be fixed, and that problem is the fallout of Freedom Day, because it's happened. So this is the first time we've done a broadcast since Freedom Day. Freedom!
They will let us down. It will not be enough. Cause I got no faith in their sense. They'll just stick around. Oh, yeah.
So this is the world we're living in now. Freedom. And look, it means you don't have to wear a mask. It depends where you go. Maybe if you've been going to a place where they insist that you wear a mask, then you've still been wearing one. I have, because I've been hanging out in the League of Justice. So a lot of masks. A bit of a cape as well. It's been warm for that. However, we are now in this new era. And Freedom Day is not even the right phrase. It's more about personal responsibility. For so long, people have been saying we should leave this to the common sense of the British people. We don't need the rules. We don't need a government telling us what to do. We should leave this to the common sense of the British people. British people who do things like, I'm putting a firework up your bum cakes. And to be fair, I'd seen pictures of that before, and it hadn't dawned on me that what he's achieved there is a red column of smoke across a white canvas of bum cheek. He's almost recreated the flag. I mean, that's not bad going. That must have put some work into it, and he's almost making it smile. So, but they're the kind of people that we are now trusting this. And I'm almost glad that we're doing this. Yes, it is a bit of an experiment, but for ages, people have said, oh, common sense is better than government rules. I guess we're going to find out now, aren't we? Because if suddenly there are loads more cases, rules might be better than just leaving it up to common sense. Interesting. So every single time someone's giving you an argument online and they start going, oh, common sense of the people, we'll have statistics to back up whether that's good or not. It'll be good to know, because maybe if common sense is better than rules, we can not bother with those laws about seatbelts anymore. Let's just leave it to the common sense of the people. We'll find out. Look, very few people actually murder. So do we need rules against it? We'll find out, won't we? It's going to be interesting. But that's taking it too far. It's taking it silly. Let's just look at how sensible we are when it comes to COVID, with this story of a man who dressed up as his wife so he could board a plane because he got a positive test for COVID. Yeah. Yeah, you got that COVID. You might spread it to people on a plane. Wouldn't want to miss the flight, though. Quick, better dress up as the missus. So I'm not sure we're the most sensible. Or, to be fair, don't want to get sued by this guy. Maybe he was just dressing up in his wife's clothes anyway, and that was like improving an idea like, no, I was just trying these on because I wanted to dress as you because of the COVID. Nice. So maybe he's a genius. It's very difficult to know. He's not the only one who's got some of that there COVID. It's been an interesting time. We've heard that Health Secretary Sajid Javid tested positive for it. Talk about taking your work home with you. He does need to be careful because he's in charge of sorting out the COVID thing, gets COVID. So any of the ministers are in charge of trying to reduce crime, you're going to get mugged. It seems that that's the way the universe is making this work. But he's passed it on. He's now he's impacted other people because we heard... probably the best piece of news for ages, that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor had to self-isolate because they came into contact with someone, didn't they? And then Boris did a little video. I've got some clips. Let's see what he's been saying.
Hi, folks. Like so many hundreds of thousands of other people across the country, I've been pinged.
The way he says pinged feels like it's probably not what he thinks it is. He probably assumes it's what you do to someone's bra from behind. He's got that kind of vibe to him. But I will say this. Can we zoom in on that a little clip of that? Here we are. That wallpaper is pretty good. Maybe it is worth £80,000 after all. That's nice. You could draw on that and stuff. So anyway, Boris Johnson said,
I've been asked to self-isolate by the test, trace and isolate system.
Probably the wife as well, if she's got any sense. Good idea. Keep him in for a while. He then went on to say,
after I've been in contact with somebody who has COVID, in this case, of course, the Health Secretary, Sajid Javid.
Of course, Sajid Javid, and not the masseuse I saw on the other day on the way to work. And by the way, have you noticed that when he gets stuck on certain words, which he kind of repeats it, if ever he gets stuck on the word to, he sounds eventually like a laser fight in Buck Rogers. Just an observation. That's what we're here for.
Okay.
Anyway.
Does he start force fire?
It's a space laser. Then he said,
and we did look briefly at the idea of us taking part in the pilot scheme, which allows people to test daily.
Yeah, you did. That was fun. Like, what? Have to self-isolate? Quick, deploy all of the power that I've got to make it not happen. And then it's almost as if someone managed to work out that having a situation where there was one rule that they'd have to stick to and a different rule for us would make it look like it was one rule for them and one rule for us. And that's bad optics. So they couldn't possibly let that carry on. And that's why things have changed. They are now in self-isolation. Working from home, it's not that difficult for them, is it? Interesting about this idea of pilot schemes, though, because we found out that there was a pilot scheme that's not going to be available to the likes of us, but it was used by Michael Gove. You're telling me there was an opportunity to keep Michael Gove away from society, and it wasn't taken? These people are idiots. I don't trust their common sense as far as I could throw it. But it's unsurprising that both Boris Johnson and Rishi both had to self-isolate because they live next door to each other, don't they? Number 11, number 10. And we heard that the app is so sensitive that it can ping your neighbours through the wall. Because it's based on Bluetooth. How do we not know that this app was going to be an absolute waste of time? Have you ever used Bluetooth? It is a system that makes no sense at all. Well, no, the app will detect with the appropriate level my absolute arse. Because I can sit around trying to sync some speakers to this little kit, and this computer will not notice any Bluetooth anywhere near it. Nah, didn't pick it up. And yet, some TV 5 miles away, bing, that's available to use. So if anyone down there's ill, I don't stand a flipping chance, do I? So anyone whose neighbours are ill with it and they tell their app, stand a chance of having their phone pinged if their phone's been near a wall. You have to keep your phone in the centre of your building, which is crazy. There are people who put their phones in lockers next to other people's phones in lockers, and the phones don't know that, do they? They were like, I guess we've all been hanging out in these small containers. Ting! There's the worry about how many children are staying home because of all the COVID and the pinging. Apparently, at the moment, more than 1 million school pupils in England were absent last week. And according to some experts, by the summer, that could be all school children who aren't at school. Shit. I'm not an expert on when these holidays land, so it's a bit worrying. If you wanted to go out and do some partying, nope, Freedom Day doesn't mean freedom to go to the nightclubs because there are vaccine passports, which means for a while only those who have been double jabbed can go down a nightclub. And I'm not old enough to have been double jabbed yet. This idea is a good one. As someone who has a much younger spouse, any way to get away from having to go clubbing, oh God, they're up so late, so exhausting. They're playing their loud music. It's just confusing. What is an Iggy Azalea? It's a pot plant. So I'm grateful that that's happening, but you can't go out if you've been pinged. You can't go to nightclubs. Kids aren't going absolutely anywhere. And if you want to fly anywhere, not a chance, because everywhere's shutting their borders to us. So when you say freedom, I say freedom.
They will let us down. It will not be enough. Cause I got no faith in their sense. They'll just stick around. Oh, yeah.
Breath after that.
I bet. Was that not? That wasn't lip synced. You sang?
No, that was lip synced. I had to learn how to lip sync for that.
I mean, I think you need to be careful about how you present a couple things in there. Well, be careful about one thing. When you say you have a spouse who's much younger than you that wants to go clubbing, she's not that much younger than you. I mean, that makes it sound like you've got like a 19-year-old locked up downstairs who's just like, I just want to go clubbing.
I didn't mention the 19-year-old.
With me now.
I was talking about my spouse. It's a full decade though, and I'm not that far past. You know, I'm a decade older.
Yeah.
And a decade ago, I was still going down, the discotheques, listening to the S Club 7.
Yep. One of those clubs.
Yep.
Club de Seal. When you do, and also the other thing, when Boris says pinged, I think generally when he says, "Oh, you've been pinged," that's what he says to somebody when he knocks them up. Kerry, you've been pinged like many others before you.
I think he talks of a pilot scheme as the reason he doesn't have to wear a condom.
Yep.
Chris Hood says freedom. James says, hi, Eric and Steve. Do you ever worry that satire is dead with this merry-go-round of fuckery? Yeah. Yeah.
That is a good term.
What a
career.
What a career to try and pick. I know, I'll make jokes about the government, and they'll do what? Get a clown to do what? With what kind of wallpaper? And then get self-isolated on free what day? Oh. Stella Tortoise, says Chris to Britt. I should read these in the other order, because going backwards means it gets very confusing. Britt says, plastic bucket or KFC bucket? If you're going to drop a bucket, I'd say a plastic bucket. Don't drop a KFC bucket, because the rats will just have that. Don't hear a fan, says Shades of North. Lovely. Put that back on them.
There we go.
That's going to be one cool shin. You have more fans than you realise, Steve. Just this one down here. Hey, is that what you were doing? Shades of North says, hey, Chris, indeed, lots of fans. I used to do the joke every year on radio when we'd have a heat wave, and I'd say, experts say you should sleep on top of the covers naked with a fan on you. So if you are a fan of the show, 01708 every year. I've not done it yet. I'll do it tomorrow. Yeah. And then iBogey says, Oh, it's an American show, so surely you get the reference, Eric. Biddy, biddy, biddy.
I don't remember.
Biddy,
I've
biddy,
been here
biddy.
too long.
Choo, 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 choo. Biddy, biddy, biddy. I mean, this is just a clip, isn't it? We've got to take this as a clip. What have you been missing on Comic Solving Problems? Choo, choo, biddy, biddy, biddy.
I don't know. Is that Battlestar Galactica?
The Buck Rogers. Biddy, biddy, Twiggy, wherever it's called. Biddy, biddy, biddy.
Wow, you are older.
That's why I don't go clubbing anymore. Brit says Bojo has no neck in the vid. Is he part tortoise? Stellar tortoise, says I don't. Yes, there we go. Almost. Now we're up to speed and making sense.
Now we get it.
Tracy says that would explain why Boris's hair is all over the place. He pretends that he's a Jedi warrior, and the static from his lightsaber makes it stand on end. Yeah, he's probably got a Van de Graaff going on as well.
One way to do his hair.
He's probably been dragged through a hedge backwards whilst being chased by a dog. No, someone else has got that look. I seem to remember.
He did try and comb it a bit when he was running for prime minister, but now he's just fuck it.
Maybe
doesn't care.
But I mean, in theory, you'd think, okay, maybe he's using that time to do better in his career, and that's how he's got so far. But what? I spend all day combing my hair, so that's not held me back. It's clearly not just that. There must be something else to do with having rich families, connected families, because I don't have that. And I'm sat here doing this with you.
So it's an inbred thing that his hair goes like that?
Biddy, biddy, biddy.
No idea.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, get some more comments.
Cool.
They're on the YouTube thing, which you can see if I put my phone there to cover the white shirt. Get subscribing on YouTube. And if you'd like to help us out on Ko-fi, there's the link.
Yes.
Drop some money in the pot, and it'll keep this whole thing afloat. Meanwhile,
I think I have heard some chings going to the Ko-fi, so thank you very much for those donations. They give us hope.
Was it a cha-ching or a biddy biddy biddy?
It was a cha-ching.
Okay, good. That's better.
Biddy biddy biddy. Cha-ching. Ka-ching. Steve.
Yes.
This is a problem with the Lord that taketh, and then the Lord can giveth. And what I'm talking about is that taking from the poor and giving to those with really beautiful teeth. And I'm speaking specifically about a man named Joel Osteen. Look at that smile. Wow. You can tell he's from America. Wouldn't you love to have teeth like that?
Yeah, love it.
Look at that. Look at that. His eyes lifted, everything else. He's a preacher of a large mega church in the United States. And I hadn't really heard of him before because I'm not in the States. I'm not big on the mega church, and I'm happy with my teeth, but I've never gone for the full American. You know, my mother did send me, after watching this show during lockdown early on, some teeth whiteners, which I just used to clean my coffee cups because they were getting stained on the inside. Wouldn't want them to be stained. But basically, I've never heard of the good old Joel. And then this came up on the old Twitter feed that he'd gotten a $325,000 new Ferrari when he's supposed to be, you know, working on a mega church that's a charity. And he's, you know, allegedly, you know, got all this money, and it's, you know, not very, doesn't seem right. And he was doing lectures on wealth and God and giving and that kind of stuff. But it turns out that that is actually not his car. So I picked the story. I thought, oh, I'm going to make fun of this guy as being a hypocrite. Like, oh, you know, false imagery, that kind of thing. You know, the temple where Jesus came in and he knocked down some, not really up on the Bible, but Jesus did something with the temple. He wrecked the place. You know, I think at the time he was a member of Antifa. I'm not really sure. I haven't followed I've not seen the movie yet. I want to catch up with that. But then Mel Gibson, anyway, it's very complicated. It's hard to stay up on these things. But it turns out, Joel, he's just a simple man of the Lord, right? That's not his car. You know, he's a man of about $60 million. So what do I say to that? Hallelujah. I'm thinking about starting a mega church here in the United Kingdom. I believe in the power of the purse. And I'm very careful. I don't want to talk too loud to blow out my mic again like I did the other time. He believes in the power of positivity. He believes in the power of his miracle. That's what he believes in. And he's got the teeth to say it with, which we can see right here. Let's hear it from the man himself.
You can think positive. You can believe for favor. That's good, but nothing happens till you speak. The miracle is in your mouth.
We'll go to miracle right here, Steve. I got the miracle right here in my mouth. I just got it out. And what does that miracle look like? $60 million. That's what that miracle looks like, that this horse shit can get him that much money. You look at that. And, I mean, clearly this guy's a charlatan. He's got his mega church. He's got $60 million. How is it that people fall for this? I mean, when they watch these videos, what is it that draws them in?
Your destiny is not limited by how you were raised. It's not limited by what level your parents reached. God wants you to go further. Now get in agreement with him.
I believe in Joel. Oh, Joel. Sorry, there's something. I don't know what happened there. I just transferred $2,000 to Joel Osteen. It's a miracle. It just came right out of my mouth because it was the food I would have given my children. Now I'm giving it to Joel. I don't know. Did that make you believe in Joel? Do you feel any? I mean, I know we didn't.
No.
You've got your science and beliefs. It's not going for you.
No.
The final question is: once we believe in Joel, once we believe in all this divine knowledge, where can we go to find some more?
If you're going to see the greatness that belongs to you, the favor, the influence, the talent, you have to look to your Heavenly Father.
That makes sense. The Heavenly Father, because most of his supporters will look to the Heavenly Father because they probably don't know who their real daddies are. Idiots.
Didn't expect that, Burn. Oof.
Just give them this. These charlatans. It's just insane. Why are they giving Joel their money when they could be giving their money right here? We will solve your problems. We will whiten our teeth. We will buy our cars, and we will find the miracle anywhere you want to put it.
In our mouths?
In our mouths. It doesn't matter if it's worth $60 million. I'll put it in my anus. It doesn't matter.
Now you're coming across like that guy in that Fire Festival documentary. I would drive across the UK.
I would do what I got to do. I believe that you should give them some money.
If you are going to drive across the UK to blow a guy for money, make sure you check out the latest on the roads with Darren Goff. I'm Darren Goff, LBC Travel.
Just put your money in the Kofi before you travel.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So you're not a fan? It's bizarre because look, if ever we were to split off sides and do if we were to fake the debate like they do on so many different outputs, you'd be religion, I'd be science. That's the way we'd do this. But even you see this person and be like, maybe you're more offended by it because it's just, if you're a religious trickster, you're just a trickster to me. But I suppose you could be more offended if you think he's using religion.
You can be a person of genuine faith and do good. And he, I believe, is not. He's got his teeth cleaned, and I'm sure he genuinely has a 19-year-old that he's taken out clubbing downstairs. But no, it's a corruption of a faith that people invest in. And then, he takes their money and promises them things and says things with swirly lines around his videos. And it's a scam.
Yeah. It had that vibe of the snake out the Jungle Book. I'm with you with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people fall for it because he's good at it.
But
I would say, well done.
Look, I don't disagree with you saying that, there are people of faith who do good things. There are also people with no faith who do good things. So I think there's an independence between the two.
Yes, yeah. but he's a person that manipulating the faith, though. That's where he's taking direct advantage of those people who don't know who their daddy is.
Yeah,
maybe Joel's my daddy.
If you want to make sure that you're never conned by a scam, just send £20 to this link, and we will do all that we can. We will pray for you to make sure that you don't get scammed.
We will pray for you if you want to find the miracle in your mouth and the miracle in wherever it is. If you send £20 right there,
it is.
I promise you. You will find a release of yourself from the sin of money that is holding you back. Just release it. Release your material goods. And the place to put those material goods is at Kofi.
I'll pray for you. Why not?
Hallelujah, sister. Yeah. I gotta get some Billie Eilish tickets for my daughter, and they are not cheap.
What's a Billie Eilish? Is that like it's a variegated version of Iggy Azalea?
I had to Google it. I'll send you the links.
Okay. Thank you very much for getting the comments coming through.
Let's see what we've got here. Better Can Corona.
So that would be...
this is going back to the French lager, which was the stellar tortoise.
Yeah, still
I
a
see there.
tortoise.
Stella turquoise. Edward says teeth defects attention from very high blink rate. And that's right, because he's
he a
blind.
blinker? I'm quite a blinker, though. I was a challenge for all the opticians. And whenever they wanted to see my in the back of my retina, I'd be like, oh, get ready. Boom, 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 boom.
And after the laser surgery, did that get better?
Now I can't blink.
It's all CGI. He's not actually blinking for the whole thing.
No.
It's where all the Kofi money goes. It's into the CGI. He's got green screen on his eyelids.
I blinked during the laser eye surgery. Now it's just too old.
Have you ever thought about going into the space laser business?
Space laser? What? Just have one that goes chew,
From your eyes.
chew, chew.
You could start forest fires.
Have some of that.
Yeah. Britt says, Mum just asked me if I wanted any putty. It's officially our fault, your fault. We are an easily entertained bunch.
But you got to say it like putty.
Putty.
Yep.
I don't know what that's from. Chris Hood says, I believe in the power of Kofi. Praise the cash.
Praise the cash.
Oh, praise the Lord. We take different currencies and everything.
Well, I do declare, I found
go into that.
I found that we are here to verify the verisimilitude of my client's ascertainments.
He's trying to make a comeback there. Britt says, bet he's bleached more than his teeth and more than his eggs.
You can bleach your eggs.
I don't know what that means. His testes? Are those his little eggs?
To make them look
bleach your
blonde
testes.
and younger.
It's really smooth when you do that. So I've been told.
Don't try it at home.
Right. I think we've caught up.
Do it in the supermarket. And that's why I've been banned from Tesco.
I got banned from Tesco.
Boo.
All the Tescos. All the time.
That's our catchphrase. All the Tescos, all the time. This is Comic Solving Problems. Let's get the latest on the roads. The latest on the roads, I'm done golf.
Final problem.
Yeah. The problem of technology, space lasers. It's all linked. It's all coming together into one because you've got to be careful. For example, today we found out that Dubai has created its own rain to break their heat wave. They've sent up drones that then shoot electrical charges into the cloud. It makes them then turn into rain and can start. They've got the power to create rain, which means they are never going to lose at cricket again. I mean, you think about that. Gets in the wrong hands. As soon as things are in their favour, rain stops play. Let's check the latest on the roads. Down golf. So there's that. And then, did we ought to let people get control of the skies? Because that's happened a lot. We now know that Jeff Bezos has launched himself up there in his new Shepherd Hut rocket, whatever it was called. He's been to space in... it's a picture from there. The new Fantastic Four. She is really short. Look at that. But I'm not sure which one's Mr. Fantastic, him or the brother, because they both kind of got the Thing look about them. But they went up there into that there space for 11 minutes it took or something. It was 11 minutes up and down. They were in space for barely 4 minutes. Can you really claim that you've been to space if you were in space for 4 minutes? Like, I once had a connecting train at Peterborough, but if someone starts chatting about Cambridgeshire, I don't go, I've been there. I'm doing golf. So I'm not sure you could necessarily claim it. The bizarre thing is, 11 minutes up and down for Jeff Bezos, Richard Branson, 90 minutes to get up into space. So I guess that's the benefit of going with Prime. Just gets everyone done a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So he went up there. There have been many questions about the shape of this rocket, about why does it look like that. Anthropomorphic is the phrase they've used. Anthropomorphic for... I think when it was originally designed, you expected there to be more build-up of thrust. So I think it was originally meant to look more like that. And I don't know what people's problems are. I mean, they've put a vein on the outside of it, Eric. This is what I don't get. It's one thing that it's shaped like that, but why did it need to have a vein?
The texture.
Yeah, ribbed for someone's pleasure. Bizarre. Surely it must be possible to have some sort of spaceship that's not shaped like a big dong. It's not rocket science.
But, Would you? But the thing is, why would you want to?
Because it's embarrassing, isn't it? I'm just going to space. What does it look like? Oh. Do you not think? The weird thing is, if you look at the size of that rocket, and actually it's only like, 4 people who went up, but then that's just typical Amazon. The container is huge in comparison to the goods. Why were we even surprised? And then there's a wild conspiracy theory. It's my favorite thing that I have to say about this whole alien lark, is that Jeff Bezos was replaced by aliens when he went up into space. Because it's been a weird thing since it happened. I'm not against billionaires spending their money to go into space, because it seems pointless, but at least it gets money out of their bank accounts back into the economy, I suppose. Yeah. And you've got Richard Branson doing it, Elon Musk, who, by the way, congrats to Elon Musk. He was the richest man on Earth for 11 minutes earlier on. So, you've got to take the wins where you get, haven't you? He'll go up into space at some point. Eventually, Sir Alan Sugar will go up as well on some sort of a wind-up version. We would have been there sooner, but I was using an Amstrad computer. So it's going to be fun to that. However, there was a bit where Jeff Bezos came down and said it was amazing. Well, you're going to say that, aren't you? You've got to flog tickets. I say good things about this show afterwards. But he then thanked all the Amazon customers. As an Amazon customer, that was a right slap in the face. He's going, well, thank you for making me so rich that I just did that. I just spent that much money to go into space. You somehow, down on Earth with your little life, end up getting stuck in traffic. Every time I use the A12, it's a 15-minute wait to Gallows Corner. In 4 minutes less than that, you went to space and back. How is that even possible? So he's taking our money, collecting it all together and going, I'm living a great... Thank you for spending all your hard-earned money on me living it up. But it must be even more of a slap in the face if you work for Amazon. And there's reports of the fact that they don't get to go for toilet breaks. We can't complain. I sit here. You don't know I've got my shins out. I could do a wee in the middle of any of the sections. In fact, if you go back and look at some of my facial expressions during Eric's, you'll know when it was. So, but they don't get toilet breaks. Their working conditions are questioned all the time. It seems bizarre. So when you think the idea that he was sent up into space and has potentially been replaced with someone who doesn't show any humanity, I guess the bigger question is, how would we even know the difference? Look at that. Serious point. Boo-boo-boo. Yeah, that's satire. Satire's not dead yet. Not whatever you got billionaire dicks doing that.
How did you finish up that section?
Boo-boo-boo. Biddy-biddy-biddy. And don't go. Ed says, going up to space is okay, but the return is a bit of a come down. Oh, where's my noise? Hang on. We've not... I've hotkeyed the Tesco one, but we've not hotkeyed the... Well done. Very good.
And while that was happening as well, thank you to Chris for a very generous Ko-fi. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And also, have you seen Tracy's comment? Steve, you didn't disappoint. When I saw the footage of the rocket yesterday, I knew that was Steve Allen bait. What, because it was shaped like a massive ding-dong?
He's a bit of a conk.
Chris says, did you see the TikTok made about the Dick Rocket? No, I tend to not search. Although Dick Rocket now might be my made-up name whenever I sign into a hotel. But other than that, I've not checked it out yet. Britt says, the UK treats the birds, but USA eggs are bleached. Oh, yeah, chlorinated eggs. You guys did it in an episode ages ago. Yeah, we actually talked about it, and we forget. We thought you were talking about, having blonde pubes on your undercarriage.
No, we've done too many of these. You should go back and watch the previous shows. They're all there.
I enjoy watching previous shows so I can see the moments where I'm taking a wee. All right, every so often, if you just pay attention, because Eric's talking, so he pulls focus. It's delightful to watch. But if you just watch, every so often, you see one of those.
Yeah. That's when when you're talking, I sometimes just belch inside my mouth.
Of course you do. Do you want? I think we might be up to date in terms of the comments. So you can sneak some more through, but I think we're about done and dusted for the evening. What do we have to plug and say? I guess money in the Ko-fi would be a thing.
We are both gigging together on Friday at Kingston at Crack Comedy. So if anybody's in the Kingston area and wants to see us live in person, you can check us out if you go to crackcomedy.com and get some tickets there. And we are off next week. We are not doing a show, so that's important to let people know, which is an important time to go back and watch our back catalog. Or if you can't be bothered to watch the shows, if you could just let them play out in length, because it raises our viewing hours. So Helps the algorithm.
Yeah, it's good.
You don't have to watch the show. I mean, God forbid. Steve doesn't actually watch the old shows.
Just for that moment. Skip through.
Well, don't skip through. That ruins the algorithm. Just watch it. Yeah. Just let it play out and just hope you catch that moment. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah, anything else? I've got my podcast still, The American. Yeah, there's new episodes coming out this week with S.E. Cupp, who's a CNN contributor and broadcaster. So that'll be good. And I'm hoping to talk to one of the Texans that has fled Texas to stop the legislator from meeting. And they fled to Washington, D.C. And if they go back to Texas, they'll get arrested. So I'm trying to get a hold of one of them.
High drama.
Texan drama.
Meanwhile,
how about you?
I'm knocking out the podcast of the Time FM show. So if you want to hear me getting very confused talking to Steve from Upney, it's not quite the same as the high drama, but it has its appeal. Also, there's the Larry sketches are in there as well. I think today's one was enjoyable, put it that way. And what was my... Oh, yeah, apparently there's some sort of alien that interrupts the broadcast because that's how FM signals work, even though most people don't listen on the actual radio these days. But no one seems to have worked that out. The sketches still seem to work. And, yes, I'm doing the gig on Friday. 5 Live. I'm on 5 Live Saturday morning. Doing a newspaper.
La-di-da. Okay, and, well done.
Yeah. And we're talking about the Tokyo Olympics, and I don't know, I didn't even chase this one. I don't know why they came to me, but I think it's because if you look at some of our recent output on our Twitter channel, it looks like I'm something of a sports commentator.
Sports.
So the work's coming through to get me to talk about what's happening in Tokyo.
Have you had to look up what the Olympics are?
Yeah, apparently it's like some sort of big running race.
It's a thing.
It's like a whole thing, but it's more socially distanced. You're not allowed a crowd, and apparently the 5 rings have been separated. So that's the only joke I've got for Saturday.
Well done. That was good. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I've got. I've got plenty of time to work on more stuff. Britt says, don't worry, most of the viewers are in the bog anyway. Not me. I'm far too classy, says Britt. Yeah, you just do it straight in the sink, don't you? And I think we're all up to date. Good stuff.
Yep. So we are, should I try and say when we're back on? We are back on.
Week on Wednesday.
Is it a week? Are we doing the Wednesday or are we doing a different night? No, we're not doing the 4th.
I'm done golf.
We're not doing the 4th.
In the event of an emergency, just do a Darren Goff impression.
We have to do, if we're doing it that week, we got to do it on the Thursday.
Oh, holy crap, yeah. But we've taken 2 weeks off.
We don't have to take 2 weeks off. We could probably do this after we finish this show, though. But I think the 5th, can you do the 5th?
No, I think... bizarrely, we went through... I was sat in a Pret. I seem to remember doing all this.
I think we missed a week.
Yeah. I think
we might be taking 2 weeks.
So you can't do the Wednesday, is what you're saying?
I can't.
Oh, I've got a gig on the Thursday.
Oh.
So you can't do Tuesday?
No.
Or whatever comes first. So this could be it for 2 weeks.
So we might be back. We might be it for 2 weeks, and then we will be back on the...
But then you took the other one off. Like you're not doing the
18th.
11th. So we're back on the 18th of August.
Yep.
Wow.
It would seem so.
We might follow the Twitter thing, because I think we might end up having to do a pre-record or something. We can't go for that long with that. Yep. Should we just...
I think we were meant to do something on the 4th, but I realize now that I can't. So I think I missed that when we were chatting.
Ed says, welcome to Comics Checking Calendars. CCC.
Yeah. Hey, if you can do unpacking videos, why can't you do scheduling?
Yeah, good point.
If anybody else has any problems in their diary, wants to share. I mean, this is actually every conversation I have with my wife now.
Just thinking, yeah.
Just syncing calendars.
The Ed says socially distanced relay race will be worth a watch at the Olympics.
That's true. They have to hand sanitize the thing before they hand it over.
It's going to be the worst times ever. Diarists of the world unite. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You know, Kenneth Williams... He published his diaries, and people were like, "Oh, it's great. We're telling you the details of our diaries," and everyone's like, "Oh, you're just checking your calendars."
Teenage diary. That was a thing on BBC Radio 4. People bring in their diaries and read them when they were teenagers. We could do that too.
We just took it too literally.
Scheduling. Scheduling. Right. We'll figure out. We'll be back. So if you're not following us on Twitter, now's a good time to find out when we'll be back again. And then on the Facebook, follow us, each of us, on the Twitter that's there. And
yeah. You can follow me in person, because every so often I keep getting thrown out of a big shop. But it's good to have that. We don't even need punchlines.
Just bring it. It was slowly faded in as well.
And
it's nice.
For people watching this or listening to this on the podcast, you got no idea that we've even got graphics. God, you're going to be in for such a treat when you realise that there are visual jokes as well. Oh,
that was a picture of the coronavirus that Steve batted away.
Yeah, audio description. Steve is now attempting to do an impression of LBC travel newsreader Darren Goff. LBC Travel, I'm Darren Goff.
You don't need to narrate something that's audio.
Oh.
It's the visual that you have to explain.
Oh.
You explained that you were going to do that, and then you did it. They could hear that on the podcast.
Yeah, I was doing the audio commentary for the not really following it. For anyone who's watching it with their other half who's just spent all their time on the phone instead. And they don't, who's he again? If you weren't watching your phone, you'd know. So you don't have to have those conversations.
Yeah. So we will be doing this show again at some point.
I hope so. Never look at the diaries. That's it. God, download all the old copies.
This is the last show. Well, there we go. No, it's
could be worth something at some point.
We'll be definitely be back on the 18th of August. But between now and then, maybe we go. What about Sundays?
Yeah, tricky. Again, we'll do this one off air. Britt says, "Where will I go to get to giggle at highbrow satire and willies?" Well, one of them we can send you directly to your inbox. For willies, you'll have to go elsewhere.
We'll have to do. I think maybe Sundays. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, we'll have more information. Basically, watch the skies. We will send you a message somehow.
Smoke signal.
Watch my dreams. Episode of Red Dwarf. Anyone remember that one? No. Okay. So, enough sci-fi comments, enough stuff. I think we're done. We've done another hour of this with 3 minutes worth of material. I think we've... Yeah.
There we go. Well, thank you for watching, and we will be back until we aren't.
Yeah.
Whichever comes first.
Whichever comes first.
We will see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye. Bye. Thank you for watching this from Comic Solving Problems.
And if you feel like it, go ahead and like the video.
Or subscribe. Commitment.